Before we begin, I do want to go over kind of why we have the methodology that we do. I believe that, with the way that we approach things, we're trying to make sure that you can get results both in kind of the simplest way for you. You don't have to manage 10 different things, and as little time as possible for like habits that you're going to be able to maintain. Certainly, if your goal is to lose weight, you could just try and starve yourself, just eat nothing at all, and you'll lose some weight. But is that healthy for you or like good in the long run? Probably not. But that being said, if you look online, especially, there are an infinite number of different things that you can look into that will help you in some way. But the thing is that a lot of the little things you can look at are sort of like the top of a pyramid. They're helpful. It's nice. It's kind of fancy to see. But really, there's a small number of things that if you focus on are more of like the base that's going to make up the majority of your results. We want to help you in being able to focus on these and understanding what is actually going to get you where you want to go in the long run and kind of how to do that. So the ones that we view as like sort of three pillars that you must do in order to see real progress in your fitness. There are three things that you need to do. Everything else is supplementary to this and will not have as big of an impact in the long run. But if you are able to consistently do these three things, you will see success. First is sort of like your diet and total calories. Um, Especially, a lot of people don't get enough adequate protein. Um, we'll kind of give some estimates for that, but usually if you're at like a healthy body weight, this ends up being zero point 0.7 or zero point 0.8 grams per pound to a gram a pound per pound of your total body weight. If you're, overweight, then I would just cap that at 200 in general. But you can view this as very literally like, wood. If you're building a house, you need wood. You need physical materials to be able to do that. So if you want to get thick thighs, you want to, have kind of parts of your body be able to be repaired, you need to have the resources required to make the repairs. And in that case, for a lot of your body, that's going to be protein. Tracking calories is also very important. You don't have to do this forever. I get being nervous, like, but I promise that you will be surprised at results if you haven't done it before. Um, and this is absolutely essential to know what's going into your body and kind of how your progress is going. And lastly, as time goes on, a lot of people think that in order to diet, they have to just cut out everything that they really enjoy. I would heavily recommend instead that you sort of view it as finding healthy foods that you enjoy that you can add to your diet and that sort of fit your protein and calorie goals and just adding those over time until eventually, if you have enough different things that you like that are healthy, it's going to be easier for that to be the majority of what you're eating. Second thing, also very important, your daily activity. If you have an active job, this is less important. But for a lot of us, you sleep laying down, you drive while going to work. At work, you sit down and you come back home and you sit down to watch TV or play video games or whatever it might be. Um, Being active is going to make everything else significantly easier if that is you. It doesn't really matter how you achieve this. I do think, that active sports or hobbies that you have can really help. But even if it's just kind of taking a walk after meals or something like that to increase your daily activity, this is going to make your life much easier. If you look at an app on your phone and you see that you're getting 2,000 steps per day, I promise the single easiest thing you can do to manage your weight is going to be increasing that. And finally is workouts. The main important thing is that you need to push yourself here. There are other videos where I will go over why in this, but your body is only going to change when you're challenging yourself. Now, don't beat yourself up because what is challenging to you isn't what you think it should be. If you're out of shape, you still need to do many things that are appropriately challenging to you now. Um, but that will change over time. So follow the program workouts, challenge yourself with them, and if you're running into difficulties, definitely ask your trainer for customization. And we can do a lot to kind of adjust things if there's certain exercises that you can't do for whatever reason. in making sure that you're able to do these as well as possible. Now, there's obviously a lot of other things that I'm not mentioning here. There's maybe you're like, okay, well, what about like water intake, or what about supplements? How much protein powder should I do? Um, should I be using like this food or this food to get these things? And a lot of these can be little tricks that will help you in making these three goals more consistent. But even if, your diet was the most random things ever, it wasn't consistent at all, if you were still hitting these metrics and pushing yourself on these things, you will see results. I promise you that, like, when you're getting these right, a lot of other things are going to fall into place, and then every, like, other thing you can add on top of this foundation, these three things, is just to slightly improve the end result, or to make those three things marginally easier for yourself. But focusing on hitting those three metrics consistently, or it's just going to be so much harder for you, I promise. Finally, a lot of these are easy to forget, so your task after watching this video is I want you to write these down somewhere, ideally physically, but if in a notes app on your phone, whatever, totally fine, that these are the things that you need to focus on. Seeing and writing these things will help you remember them, and so by doing this, you're going to make it easier for yourself to stay more consistent and more focused on what is going to get you results.